Welcome to the Hero Escape Podcast.
What's a podcast?
Your weekly escape from...
I wish I could escape this feeble body.
I'm trying to do the intro.
Sorry.
Your weekly escape from unwelcome voices in your head. I am one of your three co-hosts.
We are Venom.
And we are joined by...
Dante Itami.
You hear that?
Please.
Get host number one.
That is my name, Dante Itami.
Okay. And I am willing to do orthodontia on both Eddie Brock and Venom. So anytime you come on it.
Both equally in need of it.
Equally in need of it.
But is it not normal to have 100 teeth?
100 teeth. And what a subtle little makeup thing to make him be a different character. Give him a bad front couple of teeth there. It was a good job. Anyways, but before we get too much into our wonderful podcast, by the way, nailing that. Awesome. That was freaking awesome. Someday I want to grow up and be cool like you. We would like to have a quiet moment as we dedicate this podcast to Rotten Tomatoes credibility. Long gone, but not forgotten.
Amen.
Yeah.
And I say that because Rotten Tomatoes, how rotten, we are no fans of that website for everyone who might be just tuning in for the first time. Their critics giving this movie a score of 29%. The fans chiming in at a astoundingly high 89% for Venom. We as a team went and watched it the opening weekend. We enjoyed each other's company and we enjoyed the movie.
Yeah.
Start us off here with you and your extra guest host over here.
You or the symbiote. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I give it a 10 out of 10. Yeah. No, I don't know about you guys, but because of the critic reviews, I sat through the entire movie waiting okay, when's it going to start tanking? When is it going to, people talked about the last act and all that, and it never did. It was good all the way through.
Yeah.
So when it was over, I kind of looked again, and I was like, I'm kind of surprised. That was quite good. So I really enjoyed it. I thought it had a lot of funny moments that actually worked, and the plot overall worked. I mean, it wasn't the greatest plot I've ever seen in my life. And the Venom reveal, this kind of slow build up to, okay, give us the full visual of the CGI suit and all. I mean, yeah, it all worked for me. So I was pleasantly surprised.
I agree.
And worth the price of admission, easily. You give a 29% score, you're saying don't waste your time, right?
Yeah.
And this was... Anyways, yeah, go ahead.
I agree 100%. We had talked about this, about the poor scores, and I think we had talked about, I had the mindset, I'm not really going to enjoy this movie, but I want to see where they could improve. And I was like, yeah, it's similar. As I'm watching, I'm like, well, I really like what's happening. And every maybe 20 or 30 minutes, I try to think about, well, I've really enjoyed everything that I've seen so far. This is awesome.
Yeah.
The funny parts were...
Are you not entertained?
Yeah, the funny parts were funny. I actually laughed, and the action parts I felt like were good. I felt like the characterization of Venom was awesome, and whoever did his voice did a great job, and I liked all of it. I
Present
remember,
company included.
Wow.
I worried.
I didn't want to tell you guys, but...
I worried at one point that I was like, oh, we're not going to get to see Venom very much. They're going to hold it back because it's Venom origin sort of thing. They're not going to. But then at one point, you eventually do get to see a Venom a lot. And anyway, I can't think of anything, and I've thought about it for a couple of days, that they could have done to really improve it. There's things that I would prefer to see, but if that's the way they want to go with the movie, then that's fine. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, we've said the acts I think the most important thing for me to know going in, which they let you know early on in the trailers, yes, we're making a Venom movie, and there is no Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Right? And a lot of the critics are trying to give it a bad rating. I almost feel like they're trying to get street cred with the real fan base by saying, oh, this needed Spider-Man so bad. We already knew it wasn't going to have Spider-Man, right? I almost feel like they're trying to score, street cred points by saying that, which people were already thinking. But knowing going in that there's no Spider-Man, so really what I'm saying is our podcast, everything you needed to know about Venom before watching Venom, or bold predictions, whatever we call it, prepared me wonderfully for watching this movie and going into the material and realizing that there's a lot to this symbiote character.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, guys. I just want you made a difference in my life. I appreciate that. Yeah. So if you know going in and that there's no Spider-Man, because I know a lot of people could potentially be hung up on that, and they're going to have a Venom movie where he's the main character, which there's tons of comic book storylines like we talked about. I'm not sure what else you could have expected from this movie, right? I mean, it was very, very entertaining. Would I love to see Venom fight Spider-Man? Yes, I would. But that we knew that wasn't what this movie was going to be, right? So
yeah, I had a pretty strong. I mean, I sort of hoped there might be something, but pretty strong suspicion there wouldn't. Since I mean, the true origin of Venom is that it came from Spider-Man. So if they're trying to make this the origin, they obviously can't have Spider-Man in there. You know,
but it came from space. Like it still worked. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like they rechanged, Peter Parker's background where his uncle didn't die or something. But,
I mean, I get commonly harangued by you fellas for being Mr. Source Material and getting upset when they don't stick. But I can agree with you. Sometimes say if they do change it better be entertaining. And I would say this, and I.
Yeah.
Part of me does want to get upset that they changed the source material, but I was so entertained that I'm willing to say forget all of it. I forgive.
Yeah.
Thou art forgiven. Because
I dub thee
Yeah.
totally forgiven.
because I was so entertained by the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're gonna veer from the source material or the core doctrines of the story, it better be awesome or you're gonna pay for it, right?
Yeah.
And it was totally entertaining. And I was having that experience when we were in the theater together where I was almost cataloging how well the audience was responding to the movie. And we are in Texas and people are not afraid to emote in Texas in a theater. But
Lots of shooting guns into the ceiling and stuff in the middle of it.
Yeah. Yeehaw! Tarnation!
Okay, there was none of that. But
okay.
I mean, the audience, it wasn't just us enjoying that movie. The theater was packed and every was enjoying that movie.
Yeah. I recall hearing other people laughing out loud and sort of
there was
just
lots of
enjoying it.
laughing out loud.
And-
I liked that eventually I stopped jumping every time something scary happened because I was trying not to embarrass myself with you guys there watching. There were some pretty good scares I thought were pretty awesome. The Venom creature itself was, I think, really well done. Obviously, we expected the special effects, right, to be awesome. So, yeah, how can you not be entertained?
If you're listening to this and you were on the fence about the movie, go see it. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
Speaking of special effects, I just looked it up, and just because I was curious and I wanted to confirm, it is Tom Hardy's voice. They sound effects guys modulated it and messed with it and enhanced it.
Really? That does the Venom, the symbiote voice?
Yeah.
Is it Tom
But
Hardy?
it's him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
So-
kudos to him.
Pretty rad.
He's such a versatile actor. I thought his portrayal of Eddie Brock won the movie. I mean, like the way hearing the voices and how he would react to the voices. I have a parasite. His line delivery totally worked.
Yeah.
I like how that began with, I have a parasite.
Yeah.
Like that's
I have a parasite.
the excuse for everything after that. I have a parasite.
You got to be pretty good vocally as an actor if you can convince Chris Nolan to let you do a high society British Bane, and he's like, okay, we'll roll with that. It's easy to forget how everyone felt in the theater the first time he spoke on that plane. You were like, wait, what?
Yeah.
You know, perhaps he's wondering what, you know what I mean? It's like, that is not what I was picturing at all. Yeah. But then by the time, 10 minutes into the movie, you're like, oh yeah, I'm totally
really
into this.
working. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's totally working. He's anyways. So very, very good. Favorite moments or scene in the movie. Can I pull some of those out from you guys? What do you think is a favorite?
Obviously enjoyed, his final interaction with the hold-up robber in the convenience store,
Oh, yeah.
Justice served. Not just because of what happened, but because he has this whole dialogue about eating bad people only. Then he goes in, this whole thing happens in the store, and then it seems like he's going to let the guy go with a threat, and then he just, on the fly is on second thought. You know what I mean? This is just this back and forth, and then, he's eating. And then again, another delivery of that line. Oh, sorry, Mrs. So-and-so, I have a parasite. That was pretty awesome. A lot of the humorous moments are the commentary, not unlike the intro that I tried to execute there. The commentary that Venom is constantly putting on his thoughts, on his personal life, on what's happening at the time.
Why are you raising your hands up? You're making us look ridiculous.
It seems like a sensible thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that really enhanced. I feel like that's a mechanic that this movie had that other superhero movies and stuff do not or have not had.
I even like the how he slowly slid into, and I think this is a credit to the writing and the actor, how he slowly slid into more saying we instead of me, right? Like, oh, we have to leave. You know, like in the beginning it was you and me when Eddie Brock would talk, and by the end, you know, in the fight inside the building scene, it's like we have to leave. You know, he's starting to say we.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of cool. I liked that. Anyway, I thought that was a well done.
Yeah.
Well done movie.
Yeah. One of my favorite scenes. It can't be one of my favorite scenes because he uses a bad word. But he tells him, "Jump out the window."
Yeah.
Then he goes the other.
Yeah.
Wussy. But yeah, I thought I was laughing. My son's sitting next to me. I mean, that's not funny, son. But I was like,
Yeah, as I recall, we had a gaffer, if you want to call it that, in the theater with us. There was some guy that was up near the back, I feel like, that in a lot of the jokes was one of those, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like, there was a lot of those moments where these one-liners, and it almost made it funnier having that guy back up there. Just
I probably
I was almost like, this is not funny. This is creepy. Like the guy's getting possessed by this thing. Like it was creeping me out and be like, oh, I'm like, you guys, I don't want to hang out with any of you. You think this is funny? This is terrible.
I think I have two scenes that I really enjoyed. I really liked when he was on top of the building for that when he kind of poses on top of the very top of the building that they scale very quickly, because I feel like that's a scene, like a comic book cover or poster or something.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen that before. They captured that, and I really liked that. They gave it a good, like, you got a good shot of it, and I really like that. And then this is, I mean, we've said a few things that spoil, but if you don't want to hear too many spoilers, this is a spoiler right now, so skip ahead 10 seconds or 15 seconds. I liked Girl Venom. I thought that was really cool. That was unexpected to see her Girl Venom walk up.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And then, how did you guys feel the dynamic? So, wait. We have to give pounds and pounds of street cred to,
so much cred.
Yes, so much cred to Dunna Eat Me here.
Yeah.
Because he called it. He's going to eat a dude. Not only did he eat a dude, he ate multiple a dude. Or at least heads of dudes.
Yeah.
Like, holy cow, you freaking called it, dude.
Oh, well, I totally blew the Spider-Man one, but I got that one, so 50-50.
That was awesome. I was wrong. I said that there would be a love interest, and you pushed me on it to actually make it be bold, which I need to do. She didn't die. So, sucks to be me.
She did. Well, I sort of pushed you into that one, I feel. So
I'm still a little confused by the body mass implications of consuming another human being.
Yeah,
and then the
after he eats
symbiote
the dude,
sinking back into you and
him,
you
like,
being a normal size.
Yeah,
like, was that instantaneous digestion or what just happened there?
Yeah.
We also sort of got, jokingly, right, the friend zoned by the girlfriend.
Yes,
which sort of does happen, right?
I'm totally giving you the friend zone because he totally got friend zoned by her, dude.
Yeah.
It didn't happen the way
period
I
in the
thought.
movie.
I mean, it was his original fiance, but then
Yes.
later on, by the end of the movie, their friend, he's been friend zoned from fiance. So I'm like, I think he sort of got that.
idea we're totally going to win her back.
Yeah.
Totally got friend zone. So basically what it comes down to, your bold predictions were both more bold and more correct, and mine were terrible. That's what it comes down to. So good job. Kudos. Applied. Oh,
Grazie.
grazie.
I will say though, not to initiate the downturn or something. It's inevitable to find a little nitpicks and things like that.
Yeah, so what were some things...
I felt like the relationship dynamic between those two, like the actual chemistry wasn't really, and you made that comment to me as well. That
We were talking about that earlier. I completely disagree.
Yeah?
I thought it totally worked. Like you guys said, the morning scene with them waking
When you
up.
first see Eddie,
I
and
thought that
her,
totally
I
worked
thought-
in a unique, natural, like this is how normal people, like usually Hollywood, every time people wake up in the morning and they're together, they're like, and they're all like kissy smoochy all over each other. Like, dude, that's not how people wake up. People wake up, they're like, I gotta go straight to the bathroom because something died in my mouth. You know what I mean? Like, I got morning breath, or I gotta go whiz right away. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, that was a couple who's familiar with each other. To me, that worked.
But that's the structure of the scene.
I think they wrote it that way. Yeah, that's what we're saying. They wrote it to be that way.
But their actual chemistry, though.
I was fine with it.
Whatever.
Yeah, like when, and I did.
I can see why you're saying it, but for me, it worked. I don't ever
think about actor chemistry. But when you said that, I was like, yeah, it seemed to be like there were two people maybe they didn't get along well, and they were told to act like they're good friends there in the morning, that they're in an intimate relationship in the morning.
Did you like how their relationship worked after they broke up?
it was more believable.
The
later
cold
on in
shoulder.
the
She was
movie.
good at giving him the cold shoulder with history, kind of. I thought.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so maybe
that's what I'm
almost
saying
maybe
is-
lends credit to that they did not get along well at all
Yeah.
because
Maybe the pillow
She
hitting
was-
was not scripted.
yeah,
It's like, you guys are just gonna nicely say good morning to each other. Wham, wham.
yeah.
Oh, what is cut?
Yeah. Soured their relationship, that pillow, for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
I will say, I guess I was right because I said that the relationship with her would be what helped them come right, and it really was
Yeah.
his motivation to try and
Yeah.
prove. So I was sort of right there. I don't know how bold that was, but
I felt there was a couple things that came off a little thin, and there I don't know if anybody has really followed it, but there was a lot of talk leading up to the movie coming out. You know, they had originally been tilting this towards an R rating, and then they sort of changed their minds as it got closer to release. Tom Hardy kind of said in interviews that there was something like 40 minutes cut out. So I wondered in these thin parts if some of the stuff that was cut out was also gave a little more substance to certain things, like even little things,
perhaps their relationship.
yeah, maybe. But even something like, I don't know if you thought this as well, but he has this business relationship with, I assume, some news conglomerate, right, where he's doing his show through them. He goes in for this meeting with this guy, and it's pretty clear that he's built up a following and that he's doing pretty well at it, it seems like. You know what I mean? And then this guy gives him this assignment that is totally out of character for him and just totally off and wrong.
Almost like he got set up. Like there's no ways he was
Yeah,
going to behave
and then
himself.
he, it goes exactly as you would expect, and then he fires him at the drop of a hat, and just something about it felt thin to me. It didn't it doesn't feel like Peter Parker continually showing up late and having all these problems, and then it builds up and it culminates in a firing or something. It doesn't feel like this natural progression of something. It was just like a, hey, we really love having you here, everything. Oh, you're fired. You made that one mistake. You know what I mean? Like, so it makes me wonder if, some of the deleted scenes we'll see on the Blu-ray one day are kind of flesh it out more. And
I didn't really think about that too much, but I think we maybe did discuss that. The only thing, and I don't have a problem with it, but I will say it would have been nice, and this is just on it would have been nice to have how he, all the symbiotes are bad. Venom is still bad, but bonding with a decent guy, Eddie Brock, and then how after being with Eddie Brock, he decides, you know what, I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you be good. I'm going to help you fight off the bad symbiote.
Yeah, if I
and
could
he's like,
add-
what convinced you? I forget the exact things, but and it just seemed to be like it'd be maybe one more thing to support Venom's deciding to be on the good side, sort of.
So he's obviously, the story is for him to be kind of like this anti-hero. He's not he's not really good, but he's trying to be good. So that's my huge beef. Like, you can make up the most fantastical miracles to happen, whatever, on your show, and I'm okay with that. But when people don't behave like you, like how people should behave, something just unbelievable that. Anyways, I have a problem. Now, we're talking about a symbiote, so symbiote behavior is unknown to me. Symbiotes can be as erratic, and clearly the Venom symbiote is quite erratic. Yeah. But it would have been nice, man, if I could change just one little scene where Brock stops him from doing something that was bad for some altruistic reason,
like that
stops that urge, and they kind of did it, but maybe just fleshed it out a little bit more. Where like, no, don't kill those people, kind of a thing. But where then what they needed to add was just that one little thing, like, why not kill him? Or why do we need to go save that person? Or, you know what I'm saying? And then you can have the symbiote just take this moment where like this being good because it's good inspires him to, like, I'm from this world, this universe where it's eat or be eaten, and now there's this good here that you're showing me that I've inspired by or valued by. He doesn't have to use those words, obviously, but where then now it makes sense for the symbiote because in the movie the symbiote is betraying his leader and ultimately his species. He's not killing his species, but he killed a couple of them, right? But he's right. Kind of betraying. It's like if you and I traveled to another planet and just decided to kill all, to like blow up all of NASA that flew us there, right? Like that would be a little bit. There'd have to be a reason,
Well, he kind of gives it, which I'm not mad at. He kind of explains like, look, on my planet, I'm kind of a loser, and I don't want to be here. still being the loser with other symbiotes. So I'm going to help you get rid of them, and then
Will be the best.
It's just me.
I
and
think
then
that it
I'm
needed
one of
was
the
a little
stronger.
support for that statement. Just some kind of scene to illustrate that the other ones already thought of him as dirt and already treated him as dirt somehow.
Just something, one more thing I would have said, like I what you said, or even if there would one brief thing that showed the other symbiotes treating him like garbage, and he's like, I'm sick of this,
Yeah, just something to explain the change, because it's a big thing what he did.
Yeah,
and but anyway, I mean, he's
and just
also
to say,
he's
my
also
time
just
with
a
you is
pile
enough.
of goo that so he doesn't have to think like humans, but it would have made it I think just a little bit deeper hook for the character there.
Yeah,
for me, if I was going to change that, I would. You can tell that they were flirting with making it an R, or they had to cut back to do PG-13.
I think
like
one
you
more
said.
profanity and it would have been R. They pushed that right to the limit.
Yeah. And I mean, because there was Venom does plenty of violent things that they could have made much more gooey, or shown more of to easily give it that rating. And there was too much language, but
they didn't actually show him eat the guy in the convenience store at the end, which makes me wonder if that's one of the deleted scenes. You know what I mean? So I'll be interested.
I think the camera cut away on every head eating or eating.
They
scene.
showed a headless corpse that he checked.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways,
should also mention, if we're in spoiler territory, that true to the rumors leading up to the movie, the mid-credit scene is a tip of the hat to Carnage.
Yeah.
Potentially showing up.
Yeah, so let's talk about that a little bit. Woody Harrelson getting the nod to play the role of Carnage. That is called casting correctly, I think.
What's his name?
Cletus something or other. Yeah.
Cletus awesome hair.
Yeah.
Cletus awesome hair. So what do you think Woody Harrelson would do a good Joker? I mean, I kind of think he could.
Joker?
He might be a little
don't
too
know.
old to do Joker, but he's got that.
He would have to dump the southern twang if he was going to do
Oh,
the
he
Joker.
totally can.
I don't know
Trust
if he
me, he
would.
can, but
I don't know.
Anyways,
I'm trying to
I don't
think of
get
a movie where I
sidetracked
saw
with
him
that.
without the southern twang. But
him being playing a character named Cletus, who's a sociopath,
yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
He could do it.
Yeah, I am so looking forward to that.
Here, just a side note. Here's something I learned today. Woody Harrelson's father was a for-hire killer for the mob.
Oh,
Are you kidding me?
it all
I am not
makes
kidding you.
How do you
so much
know that?
sense now.
I was doing some trivia thing today, and it was one of the questions. I was like, "What?"
You're serious? Are you? All right, that's insane.
Hey, you got to pay the bills somehow.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't judge. Oh no, I'm going to judge. That's terrible, right? I'm going to go ahead. Awesome. Well, any other changes or favorites? We're gonna.
No.
Well, we got to
was-
give our score, our out of 10. Can
Yeah, I will say I went in expecting to be delivering like a 6.8 or a 7, and I got to say it's probably an 8 for me.
I'm gonna give it. I want to give it an 8, but I mean there was a lot of bad language in it, so I'm gonna give it 7.8. Negative 2 points for the language because they could have cleaned it up. It's still been a fantastic movie.
Yeah, but no Matt Damon, so
That is true. No Matt Damon.
come on.
So does that mean yours and
7.9 then.
I'll record it that way.
7.9.
Okay. Okay.
What if Matt Damon had his head eaten in the movie?
That might be worth some
He's
points.
still in the movie, but
You're so terrible.
I haven't prepared for this scenario. I got to do some calculations.
run the numbers.
Can I say I liked that they made it fun, right? To me, does anyone else feel like the sense of humor almost had like a Deadpool flavor to it?
It was
Oh,
definitely
yeah.
a darker humor.
Like like that dark kind of this is terrible, but isn't it also kind of funny?
And I
sort
will
of humor?
say, having sat through Deadpool 2, that the audience around me was enjoying Venom more than Deadpool 2.
Really?
Deadpool 2, there was like one guy up at the front that would occasionally laugh. And I spent most of the movie thinking, this is not as funny as I expected. And obviously, as we've said in Venom, there was a lot of people laughing, including the Gafar up behind us. You know what I mean? So, I mean, yeah, they did a very good job if they were trying to
Yeah.
hit a good balance down there.
So I've been stewing about what I was going to rate it for a while because I enjoyed it. My desire to watch it again. Yes, I will watch it again. Do I want to own it because of the language and some of the other things? So yeah, I'm going to go down. I'm going to give it a 7 just because it's not as easily. But that's the movie is well made. You've heard everything I've just said. I totally enjoy it. It was good. It was just, especially the F-bomb, like, well, that's not staying.
It's I would give it a higher score if it was something I could watch with my son, and I obviously can't because of language, because he's very young. But if they'd made it more palatable for that, I would give it a higher score, because I wish I could watch it because it was so entertaining.
Yeah. But if you're getting on the fence about getting the ticket, all of us here are giving you 2 thumbs up to approve you to go watch the
Technically 4.
Awesome. All right, Dave, you had some breaking news here that we needed to.
I don't know about breaking news.
As you know, we like to add here with a
then.
little bit of whimsy. Let's go on to our.
So if you just wanted the Venom review, you can end this podcast now. But if you want to hear something a little humorous or a little funny, you can continue to listen. I can sort of continuing the vein of some of the silly things, information I've spread before. Mm-hmm. I thought I would share with everybody the list of the DC comics universe, not the cinematic universe, but DC universe's 10 strangest superheroes. I'll try not to.
So last time we talked about oddest weaknesses,
weird
right?
Weaknesses,
whether they were good or bad. But now we're talking about weird superheroes.
Yeah. Some of these are very peculiar. Some of them aren't crazy peculiar, but so I'll let you decide how you feel about them on your own.
Okay.
So first, I'll let you guys guess. Negative Man is the first one. What do you think Negative Man's power set is?
Very depressed. He's very depressed. You'll
get depressed when you hear his
Co-hosts a
powers.
podcast and poo-poos the movies.
Oh my gosh. Hold on, it's me. How did I not notice this?
Thanks for noticing me.
Here's what it really is. He has kind of a long buildup. He was a man who was on a test flight. He was exposed to a bunch of radiation, and now he lives in this mummified, bandaged state. But because of the radiation, he has the ability to project a being of pure energy from his body. That being can pass through solid matter or cause it to explode. The creature the being also moves very fast and appears in the shape of a humanoid.
It's a being, like a person,
like a being that he can project out of his body, and that person can pass through walls or explode.
What does any of that have to do with being negative, though?
That's a good question.
In a scientific and or mood sense,
I think it had to do with it's negative radiation that he's infected, that he uses. The radiation he was
interesting
affected with is negatively charged.
Well, I guess we know why no one's heard of him.
Yep.
Also, hold on, I'm not done talking about the lameness of him.
You could be, but okay.
Makes it even worse. The power only works for 1 minute.
Oh, wow.
If he uses it for more than 60 seconds, it will kill him.
No wonder he's so negative all the time.
Also, giving him another weakness of he's just already a regular human. While he's using the power, his body goes limp and unconscious, leaving him completely vulnerable.
Worst powers ever.
Yeah. I'd be like, I just don't have superpowers. I just don't have any. I don't use.
Is this like an ascending list of stupidity, or was that like the top right there?
That's one of the worst.
Pretty
ones, I would
impressive.
say. There are some equally insane ones, but okay. The other one, you probably heard of this if you've read enough Batman comics. Ragman, have you heard of him?
Oh, I was going to ask if he was going to make the
list. He is on there. He's basically just a dude whose dad was killed by I think a gang of some kind of gang, but while he was going through his belongings, he found this pile of rags that belonged to his dad, and the rags became a suit. He gets powers from the suit, from the rags, basically, that I guess adhere to his body. And the rags are linked to the magic of the Jewish golem legend. So it's based on truth and justice. He fights for truth and justice, and the rags get power from those unrepentant souls that fill the rags, and so
all this ties together so neatly, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a very odd. Anyway, yeah.
Okay.
Grant Morrison actually made a reference to him in a semi-recent arc.
He pops up
as
occasionally.
like a joke, almost.
Yeah. He pops up occasionally in the comic book arcs, so and the Batman arcs. So anyway, Ragman, not that great. Matter Eater Lad. What do you think that he does?
Mel.
He eats matter at the whim of his his superhero boss.
How did you guess that? What? He has the astounding ability to bite through, digest, and metabolize any substance.
Also, is he like from the UK or something? Like the lad?
The lad part, yeah.
He's
Scottish.
Yeah. I don't know. He's an alien of some kind, and he went back to his own planet because people probably made fun of him so much for his superpower. Hey, why do you eat through that fence?
Your mom.
Okay.
Wait, what?
This fellow is named Brother Power the Geek. Do you know him?
No, it's not
He's
ringing a
part of
bell.
His name was
Fred-
Brother Power the Geek.
I think so. It's an odd name. I think I've only heard him referred to as the Geek in comics. He is part of the Suicide Squad for a little bit in some of the comics. He is a mannequin that was brought to life with a bolt of lightning and then endowed with super strength and speed. And that's basically it. He's like unkillable because he's not even really alive. The oddest part of this is at some point in the comics, he ran for Congress.
Only in the world of comic books, people.
Hold on. Do you think he won or lost?
One.
He lost.
He lost. Thank goodness.
These
Because it
people.
wasn't.
How dare they
He
not
doesn't
vote
even
for a
have a Social
mannequin who's been
Security
brought to
number.
life? I don't know. Probably not.
He's an illegal alien. Kick him
Okay,
out.
Dead Man. I'm going to guess a Dead Man. You got to know who Dead Man is, right?
Yes,
No?
I have seen references to him.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was that Dark Man?
No, his name's Dead Man. He was an acrobat that was killed by, I think, organized crime, and he is dead. That's basically a superpower.
Best origin story ever.
Yeah. No one
So
can
he
see
fights
him.
crime in his grave?
No one can see him or hear him. He can possess people. And I don't know why you even have this character.
Why not Ghost Man? He's basically a ghost. You say dead man, you think of a corpse. You think of
Yeah.
a zombie.
Yeah, just go ahead to the next one.
Yeah, it's not great. All right, this one's also, the next couple aren't that great. But there's a couple real good ones coming up.
All right.
The Question, if you read, again, some Batman comics, he's just a detective who happened to find this strange membrane material called pseudoderm, and he puts on his face and it obscures his features. And he does detective work where you can't see his face.
Look, guys, comic books have been around nigh on 100 years. They can't
They're not
all be winners,
They're
okay?
not all gems. Okay, Firestorm. He's a pretty popular guy. He is a superhero who is made up of two people. That somehow during a nuclear explosion, the Firestorm Matrix was created, bonding a teenager and a scientist together. So they have these sort of the youth
This is
and the
super
knowledge.
funny because this character is actually on TV right now.
Is he really?
Oh, yeah.
And neither can become Firestorm without the other. Now, I think once they're together, they are pretty powerful. But yeah, it's an odd character. That's how, if you Google that character, it has a real odd history. It's an odd character.
He's part of the Flash series. I get it confused with Green Arrow because they cross over so much, but yeah, it's
Really?
yeah.
Okay, now this one. Hold on to your butts.
Oh boy,
Hold on to you.
Sam Jackson.
This guy is named Danny the Street. He is a street.
He's
But
an
he's
actual
also-
street.
Well, he's more than that, though. He's pavement buildings, stores, lampposts, trash cans, and whatever else you'd find on a typical road. I'm not sure what his powers are other than being a street. He's undergone some changes at once he became very powerful and became Danny the World. Although later he was deconstructed and became Danny the Brick. So that is a superhero, Danny.
He's a what is how did so it's just a named inanimate object. Can I make myself a superhero?
I think he must be sentient, able to do something. Whatever that is, I don't know.
Just remember, folks, next time you think you have an idea for a comic book hero and you think, no, that's not good enough. It probably is.
Yeah, probably is.
Probably
So
is.
here's another thing. Also, Danny is a transvestite. I don't know how a
Sometimes
street
he
is.
dresses up like a highway.
I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Oh well, how very PC of them.
But that
There you
is
go.
that is canon.
Wow.
Okay, this one's pretty interesting.
Okay, so
and this one's
Dave, that makes me feel better and better about straying from canon on occasion. I think sometimes it's needed.
Sometimes
okay,
you
but
got to.
Captain Source Material. Let's agree on that one. Okay.
now this guy is actually cool. He's just very odd. It's Mogo, who is he's a living planet who is also a Green Lantern. But if you read a lot of Green Lantern comics, he actually is super cool in the comics. Whenever they do use him, I like Mogo.
How does he wear the ring?
The
more of a
ring,
belt.
Is it like a
really.
Huber's
no,
belt?
well,
Just-
no, it's the ring is the core of the planet.
Okay.
But there is like he grows his forestry, I think, in the shape of the Green Lantern logo, so it looks really cool. But he's a huge planet. I think he actually
what about the lantern?
he
Does the lantern
detonated.
go-
He was I forget the storyline, but he blew up one time. But then he, over the course of like a long time, he pulled all of his parts back together and reformed himself. He's actually a super cool character in the comics. When they write it a few times, they've written him really well. And if you read him, you'd be like, oh yeah, Mogo is cool.
He learned how to pull himself together from his good friend Danny the Street.
Danny the Street. Yeah.
So who would win? Mogo or Ego?
Oh, that's a good question.
Ooh, yeah.
I want to give it to Mogo. But yeah, Ego's, I don't know. Okay, this is the last one, everybody.
Sorry to distract you from
This is the last one.
Spontaneous, who would win?
Yeah. Okay, Ambush Bug. Have either one of you heard of him?
Ambush Bug?
Bug.
I think I've seen him a few times in my house. Hard
So-
to get rid of.
He is originally a villain to Superman, but very quickly he realized that he liked Superman and he wanted to be his buddy. So he started fighting for good, like Superman. Here's some of Ambush Bug's accomplishments. His greatest battle was against Argy, the living sock, with self-fulfilling schemes of world domination. It turns out that this sock and Irwin's bug suit, Irwin is Ambush Bug, traveled to Earth in the same suitcase before being intercepted by a giant radioactive space spider.
Wow.
So is this, dude, were these like comics that like came with like my He-Man came with a comic book that was like terrible? Some of these sound like, okay, here's a little funny story we can make for a 6-year-old.
I don't know. I don't have the answers to your questions.
Okay.
Here's another one of his resume items. To aid him in crime fighting, he picked up a doll, gave it a costume, and dubbed it Cheeks the Toy Wonder.
I keep waiting for like a more substantial ending, and then you just stop, and I'm
It
like,
just
wow.
keeps getting worse.
Wow.
He's the only superhero to have broken DC comic law. He is often cited by a continuity cop known as Johnny DC.
What are we talking about now? I'm so confused.
We're talking about Ambush Bug.
DNC comic book law? What is
That means he
Can I
like
get a
breaks.
degree
Well,
in
I'll
this?
explain that a little better here in a minute. So he
No,
beats.
you don't have to. Just
He
keep going.
he beats villains. True to the name Ambush Bug, he just pops into their life at the weirdest place at the weirdest time, catches them off guard, and beats them. Then he also can talk to the DC editors and pull them into the comic stories sometimes.
Fourth wall bug.
So that's sort of what he is, fourth wall bug. I think he's their loonier equivalent, maybe to Deadpool. Like, I can, because Deadpool breaks the fourth wall sometimes. So
Wow.
anyway, I think someone just, I don't know.
This is the industry that gave us the characters that are currently dominating the global box office right now.
Well, it's the DC side, so.
Fair point.
I'll have to look up the Marvel ones sometimes. I wonder if they have any equally insane ones. But anyway, if you were curious if, like what you said, if your ideas, you ever thought, that idea's dumb. No, it's not.
Yeah. Someone will print it.
Go ahead, draw a terrible picture, give them a story, and there you go.
Yeah.
You never know. Might be a success like Captain Underpants.
Captain Underpants.
Actually,
It actually is
successful.
I don't know if you'll achieve the success of Danny the Street, but, go for it.
All right. All right. Well, thanks for joining us. We encourage you to go enjoy the Venom movie and share your reviews also with us. Or if you have any weirder ideas that you'd like to share, we'd love to hear them. See you next week.
See you next week.
I'm never doing this again.